Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Unit 2, Review A. Remember, no calculator to show all your work and circle your final answer. So today we're talking about using the rules of exponents to evaluate, and it asks us to give the exact answer. So let's begin. Number 1. In parentheses, we have 3 over 2 to the 4th power. Now, the first thing I always want to do to check to see is, can I reduce what's inside? And I can't. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this 4, our exponent, and we're going to distribute it to everything. Okay? So as I rewrite this, our fraction, I'm going to rewrite it with the new exponent. Okay? Because we would multiply those, and if there's no exponent there, it has a 1. So 1 times 4, both situations is 4. So 3 to the 4th does not mean 12. All right, that means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is 81. And on the bottom, we're doing 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is a grand total of 16. So that's our final answer. All right, number 2. Number 2, we're doing the same thing. The first thing we check is, can I reduce what's inside? And we can't. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to distribute the negative 3 to both the 2 and the 5. So I'm going to rewrite it with our new exponents. And remember, you cannot have a negative exponent in your answer. So if our exponent's negative, we drop it like it's hot. And if it's already on the bottom, we bring it to the top. And then from here, we would just do 5 times 5 times 5 and 2 times 2 times 2, which gives us our final answer of 125 over 8. All right, number 3. Number 3, remember, if your exponent's negative, we drop it like it's hot, even if it's all by itself, okay? Because that 5 to the negative 2 turns into 5 squared, but it's on the bottom. So to prove that it's on the bottom, I'm going to put a 1 on at the top as my numerator. And then 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. All right, number 4. So for saying 2 cubed minus 3 squared. Well, 2 cubed, we've already done that once. 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And 3 squared is saying 3 times 3, which is 9. Well, what's 8 minus 9? Yeah, that's right, negative 1. All right, number 5. So, a couple things we've got to do first. First thing I see is I've got a negative 2, and that gets distributed to everything. So off to the side real quick, we're just going to do 1 over 2. Our new exponents are negative 2 and negative 2. So if our exponent's negative, we drop it like it's hot. And then if it's already on the bottom, we bring it to the top. Well, 2 squared is really 4 over 1 squared, which is 1, which is 4. Now, I did that first because we had to do a little bit of side work, and on the front we have to the 0. Well, what happens if our exponent's 0? Well, if our exponent's 0, our base turns into 1. And now we just go through and solve. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, and then negative 3 plus 4 gives us a positive 1. Okay, let's do number 6. So number 6, we got a lot of stuff going on. I see negative exponents that we have to drop, and then an exponent of 0. So let's start. 2 to the negative third. If our exponent's negative, we drop it like it's hot, so that 2 cubed goes on the bottom. If our exponent 0, the base turns into 1. And then once again, if our exponent's 0 or negative, we drop it like it's hot. So as I rewrite this, we have 2 cubed, we've done that a couple of times, which is 8, minus 1, minus 1 over 3. So everything's a fraction, so I'm going to turn that 1 into a fraction, which is just 1 over 1. And I need an LCD, a lowest common denominator, of 3 and 8. Okay? If you don't know it, you're just looking, oh, it's not 3, 8. We're just going straight across the multiplication chart until we find a number they both have in common. Oh, that should be 16. Hey, look, 24. Okay, so I need to change 1 over 8, 1 over 1, and 1 over 3, all to have a denominator of 24. So 8 times 3 is 24, so that means 1 times 3. For the 1, I have to multiply the 1 by 24, so I have to multiply the top by 24. The 3, I have to multiply an 8, so the key thing here, guys, is what you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. And as I rewrite this now, we have 3 over 24 minus 24 over 24. Sorry, that should have been a plus 8 over 24. Okay, we have to keep track of everything. And now we're just going to go from left to right and do all those operations. Or you could do them one at a time, like 3 minus 24 is negative 21 over 24. And then we're going to add 8 over 24. So negative 21 plus 8 is negative 13. And we can't reduce it, so that's our final answer. Okay, next part. Reading the directions, it says to simplify. Assume all variables represent non-zero real numbers, and our final answers must contain only positive exponents. All right. So when we have 2 parentheses, remember that that's multiplication. And we need to multiply the coefficients, which are the numbers out in front. So 2 times negative 3 gives us negative 6. And then I have the same exponents, or variables and exponents, so all I'm going to do is add the variable, or add the exponent. I know it looks weird because there's that extra variable attached to it, but 4m plus 5m is just 9m. Okay, number 9. Number 9, we're dealing with the same base. Okay, they're both n's. So who wins? Does the top win or the bottom win? Well, the bottom wins. And all we would do would be to subtract the 10y minus 3y, which gives us 7y. And just remember, we said that the bottom wins, so that n to the 7y has to be on the bottom, and then there's going to be a 1 on the top. Okay, so number 9, I see a lot of negative exponents, so that's going to be the first thing that I do. Now, if your exponent, remember just the exponent, if the exponent's negative, we drop it like it's hot. it's already on the bottom, we bring it to the top. But if it's a negative number, the negative number stays. And then we moved a y to the 8th, x to the 1 up, and there's also an x up there. I forgot to write that one down too. So let's just rewrite the order of that. So we had an x, and then we brought up y to the 8th and x to the 1st. On the bottom, we have 35, w to the 10th, and then we brought down a y squared. So the next step would be to combine your like terms. On the top, we have x and x1. Well, that's an x1 too, so altogether we have x squared. So we have negative 5, w cubed, x squared, y to the 8th, and on the bottom we have 35, w to the 10th, y squared. Okay, so as we're getting ready to do our final answer, the first thing we're going to do is to reduce the numbers, which is, yeah, it ends up being 1 over 7. Now we don't have to keep the 1 up top, at least for now, but if everything cancels, we need it there. So who wins with the w's, the top or the bottom? Yeah, the bottom. And the bottom wins by 7. And then who wins with the x's, the top? Oh, they're only on the top, so they stay on the top. And then who wins with the y's, the top or the bottom? The top. And the top wins by 6. So we're left with negative x squared y to the 6th all over 7y, or w, times 7. All right, number 10. So I always check to see if I can simplify everything, and since I can't, I'm going to distribute the 4 to everything. And remember, if there's not an exponent there, there's a 1. And we're going to be multiplying. So 4 times 1 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, and 4 times 3 is 12. The only thing we need to simplify is the 3 to the 4th, which we've done a couple times. That's 81, a to the 8th, b to the 12th. Okay, number 11. Now, before we get all crazy with everything, the first thing that we need to do is to distribute, okay? We're going to distribute that negative 2 to everything, and anytime I see a negative number, I'm going to make sure that I put it in parentheses, okay? So we have negative 5, the x, and the y. So that's to the negative squared. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, and 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Now our other set, we have a positive 2 that we're going to distribute. So that ends up being 3x and y, and with our new exponents, it's going to be 3 squared, x to the 10th, and y squared. So if our exponent's negative, we're going to drop them like it's hot. So as we rewrite this, 3 squared is 9, so we have 9x to the 10th, y squared. And then on the bottom, we have negative 5 squared, x to the 4th, y to the 6th. Okay, so on the top we have 9, and then who wins with the x's, the top or the bottom? That's right, the top. And the top wins by 6. On the bottom we have negative 5 squared, which is negative 5 times negative 5, which is 25. And then the y's win on the bottom, and the y's win by 4. Can we reduce 9 over 25? Nope. So that's our final answer. Number 12. The first thing that we want to do with number 12 is reduce. Reduce first. Don't make this work any harder for you. Okay? So, negative 16 over 8 reduces to negative 2. And that's going to be on the top. Okay? When I'm looking at the m's, the top wins, and the top wins by 2. And then the ends, I would want to drop them down, and then I would have a total of n to the 5th on the bottom. Okay? So the next thing that we would do is we would distribute this negative 2, and we would distribute the negative 2 to everything. Okay? So I'm going to put the negative 2 in parentheses, m, n, and now I'm going to add my new exponents, which would be negative 2, negative 4, and negative 10. Okay? So if our exponents are negative, we're going to drop them like it's hot. So we have the 2 squared m to the 4th. And if it's already on the bottom, we bring it to the top. Now the only thing I see that I can reduce is the 2 squared. 2 squared is 4, m to the 4th, and then n to the 10th is on top. Okay? Guys, the hardest thing about this is just keeping track of all of our information. Okay? All right, a couple more, and then we're done. All right, so it says to perform the operation as indicated and to write the final answer in scientific notation. Okay? So for number 13, we have to multiply our coefficients because it's times. So I have 3.1 times 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. And there's one number behind the decimal, so I'm going to make sure that there's one number behind the decimal. Yeah. All right, and then we're going to combine our exponents. 8 minus 5 is 3. Okay. Now, it's not in proper scientific notation. I have to move it one spot to the left, so that means you would have to move it one spot to the right. So we get 1.55 times 10 to the 4th as our final answer. All right, number 14. So the first thing we have to do with 14 is to divide. Okay, so we have 14.58 divided by 6. I'm going to bring my decimal up right away. 6 goes into 14 2 times, which is 12. 4 minus 2 is 2. I'm going to bring down the 5. 6 goes into 25 4 times, which is a total of 24. We subtract, and then we bring down the 8, and 6 goes in 18 3 times. Yay! And then, so we get 2.43. And now we subtract. So we're subtracting 7 minus 12, which gives us negative 5. So our final answer is 2.43 times 10 to the negative 5th. All right, and the last one, number 15. Now, number 15, when we're doing addition or subtraction, we want to change these first. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's our first number. We're going to add, and I'm adding that to this. So we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And now we just add our numbers up. 5 plus 9 is 14. 7 plus 1 is 8. 1 plus 6 is 7. And the last thing is to put this back into scientific notation. I have to move it 3 spots. So 7.84. I moved it 10 spots to the right, which means you would move it 3 spots to the left. And that's it. So I know part of those went kind of fast, but if you have any questions, please come in for extra help. I would love to be able to do that for you. And guys, your test is coming up soon. So we know a lot of you struggled with this section, so please come in and find us. This is Mr. Grice signing off for Algebra 2, Unit 2, Review A. Thanks for watching.